Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be huge because we finally get to see the duplicate system and the reveal of it. I've got the video pulled up. I have not watched it yet, so I can watch it with you and give you my first reaction, first impression live for you as to exactly what is going through my head as someone who has played since the very beginning of Raid, and I really hope they knock this out of the park. But we're gonna watch this video, and then we're gonna try to get you caught up on everything going on for the rest of the week here as we get into Raid Shadow Legends on Monday morning here. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, let's just go ahead and fire up this video, and hopefully it's a massive success.
Hey everyone, and welcome to our latest preview video. Today we're going to talk about the new systems for helping you get the most value from your duplicate champions. As duplicate champions is a multifaceted issue, we analyzed a variety of situations and identified a few key issues that different groups of players face. And because there were a few different situations and issues, we had to come up with a few different solutions. Something that applies more to newcomers looking to progress quickly, something that may be more useful for mid-game players looking to make the step up, and something that will be more beneficial to end-game players with pretty bloated champion collections. We wanted to make sure there was a solution that everyone could potentially benefit from, no matter where they are in-game. Alright, enough talk, let's get into it. You all know this part in your best
Stealing my
where
line.
champions bash each other on the head to gain experience. While it's getting an upgrade, the new Guardian Ring will still have all the functionality of the Sparring Pit inside, but it will also have a bunch of new mechanics, including Faction Guardians, Champion Empowerment, and Champion Unbinding. You won't know what those are yet, but don't worry, I'll take you through them all. Let's start with the feature the ring is named after, Faction Guardians. The Faction Guardians tab will let you assign duplicate champions of different rarities to become Faction Guardians. This means they'll boost the stats of all champions of the same rarity in that faction. When you first visit the tab, you'll see a list of all factions. Tapping on any of the banners will bring up a new tab.
Okay, so Sparring Pit, but it looks like it's expanded to other things. And then you've got a section for rare, epic, and legendary for each faction, and you can put up to 10. So it caps out at 10 of each dupe for a stat bonus, kind of similar to the Great Hall or something. I'll react to this stuff at the end here, but I'm just trying to make sure I kind of understand it as I go here.
With the duplicate slots available. Each slot gives a stat bonus.
Okay, so here's a little bit better look at it. Oh, okay. So HP attack, accuracy res, defense, and then speed at the end. And it looks like it is still capped out at 10. 10 duplicates for each faction. It is faction specific. So in my video with Ash, I did talk about they'd probably go some sort of option around faction fragments or faction duplicates, and at least I got that part right, but unfortunately, it wasn't exactly what I said. Yeah, okay, and it looks like the epics don't boost as much and the speeds don't boost as much. Or, I mean, the speeds don't boost. The rares don't boost as much.
To all champions of that faction and of that specific rarity. It's a bit similar to Great Hall bonuses, but faction-specific instead of affinity-specific. Slots are unlocked in order, so after you get your bonus to HP, you'll unlock the slots that can get you bonus stack, which will unlock the slots for defense, and so on. For example, let's say we have 2 Raglins. You'll be able to put them both into the first legendary Bannerlord slot and unlock a 10% HP boost for all legendary Bannerlords you own.
Okay, so it doesn't even have to be a dupe. Like this isn't even technically a dupe system. This is just a stacked added feature onto the current game. This is not even, because she said if you have 2 Raglins, you'll be able to put them both in here. So it's more like a champions you aren't using type feature. It's not actually a dupe system.
Including your Raglins, both of which you can still use. If you also had a pair of Barons, you can put them in the second slot.
Oh, and you can still use them if they're in here. So it's not even like it breaks them down or anything. Like you could. Interesting. Okay, so you can still use them. It's just mainly something you would fill up right away if you're end game and kind of go about your business. You're not having to make a choice of like sacrificing anything or whatever.
That was just unlocked to get an attack boost and so on. As I mentioned, champions you make into faction guardians can still be used in battles. As long as you don't get rid of either champions, you'll get the bonus. And faction guardians aren't only available for legendaries. Epic and rare champions can also become faction guardians. Since you don't lose your champions when you assign them to be guardians, you can still use them. For new players, this means you can boost the stats of your rare and epic champions and bring them more in line with the strength of standard legendary champions that you're having to fight against. If you don't have many legendaries yet, this can be a big help in closing the gap and winning some harder fights in the arena or the dungeons. For mid-game players, this flexibility will help you conquer the arena or beat some of the raid's tougher challenges, like some of the trickier secret rooms in the Doom Tower. And as your collection grows, you'll be able to benefit from some pretty sweet stat boosts if you manage to summon a couple of duplicate legendaries. For endgame players, this means you can have your cake and eat it too. You can get the stats boost from assigning some legendary faction guardians and keep your duplicate champion available in case you want to build a second of a certain champions, with this different artifact setup for a completely different role. And for everyone, no matter where you are in the game, bonus stats mean that all of you can be a bit bolder when experimenting with artifact setups. Okay, let's move on to our second option, champion empowerment. The principle is pretty simple. You select a legendary champion and feed them their duplicates to permanently empower them and give them a stat boost.
Fact check me if I'm wrong, but I think they said they weren't going to do this. I think this is going to be received very mixed by the player base. I think my understanding in kind of dealing with the community on a daily basis is people did not want duplicates to simply be stat boosts. And I know there's a third option coming up, but I think they said that duplicates weren't going to be used to enhance champions. But anyway, let's see what it is here before I give you my take.
You can do this up to 4 times, but keep in mind that you'll permanently lose the champions you used to empower another, so think twice before you do it. Like we said, we limited it, so while they can get a nice boost, you can't make them into unbeatable monsters. We want to make sure it won't throw game balance off. We also realize there are a few champions you can't ever get duplicates of: Lydia the Death Siren, Gumlock Skyhide, Ura's Soul Cage, and a few others. So that these powerful champions aren't left out of this feature, we've assigned other champions from their faction to act as their surrogate duplicates as far as empowering is concerned. For example, you'll be able to use Vizix to empower Lydia. Anyway, the entire list will be available in the game once the Guardian Ring goes live. Finally, we have the champion unbinding feature.
Wait. Did they even say what the boost was? Did it even say what it was?
When experimenting with artifact setups. Okay, let's move on to our second option, champion empowerment. The principle is pretty simple. You select a legendary champion and feed them their duplicates to permanently empower them and give them a stat boost. You can do this up to 4 times, but keep in mind that
I mean, I don't know what the stat boost is. So that's a pretty big factor in how I feel about this. I can't really, they didn't say what it is. Like, you don't know if it affects their speed. You don't know if it just affects their base stats, so it makes them scale better with gear. You don't know if it just adds on to their total, so it isn't affected by gear. I need to know how that stat boost works to be able to judge it. They didn't say how it works, which is a little bit disappointing.
finally, we have the champion unbinding feature that is also exclusive to legendary champions. In this tab, you'll be able to permanently release your legendary dupes to get a special resource called life tokens. You'll lose those dupes forever, but you get a life token for giving them their life back. There's nothing fancy about the process itself. You choose a champion, triple check them to make sure you don't need them, then release them from your service to get a life token. From there, you go to the Token Trader tab and behold several shiny legendary champions that you can get using life tokens. Different legendaries will have a different price based on their power, and you only get each of them from the Token Trader once. With this feature, you'll be able to get rid of unwanted duplicates and choose a champion you do want from the Token Trader list instead. We're going to be making a variety of champions available from the Token Trader, including some you might have missed out on from Champion Fusion events if you weren't lucky enough to be playing Raid back then. Folly, Molly Tankard, Fushan, Minaya, and a few others will all be available. Oh, and it's the holiday season soon, so the very special, very jolly Sir Nicholas will be coming to town as well. That's about it for the video. Be sure to let us know how things go once you've had a chance to play with the new features, events if you weren't lucky enough to be playing Raid back then. Folly, Molly Tankard, Fushan.
I don't think Fushan and Minaya were ever fusions or fragments. Foley definitely was back in the early days. And then Molly was a few months after that. I don't think Fushan and Minaya ever were. So I don't think anybody ever like missed out on a fusion or fragment event for them. So that's interesting. Okay, let's finish this and then I'll give you my take here.
And your feedback, as always. Until next time, happy raiding.
Okay. So what do I think about this? The sparring pit thing, I can pull this up while we're kind of talking about this. The sparring pit thing, I like redoing the sparring pit on the surface because it's kind of blah. So that's what they're going to be turning it in to having all these different things. You'll have the old school sparring pit right here, and then they're adding the all the different features coming along with this there on the left sides. They're just the bastion's gonna mostly look the same, but they're just gonna spruce it up and put everything in there. I'm okay with that that part of it. This first part, the faction guardians. So like 2 out of these 3 are stat boosts, and again, feel free to let me know if I'm wrong, but I feel like they said specifically they weren't gonna do stat boosts. I think most people are probably going to be against that, and then some people are going to be okay with that. I'll throw up a poll or something on the channel so we can figure out exactly how the community feels. Yeah, I don't know about stat boosts. I was hoping it would be more along the lines of helping you kind of like acquire different champions, because if you were pulling shards, which leads to acquiring duplicates, your intent while doing that was to get a champion. Your intent wasn't really to increase your stats when you pull a duplicate. You were in, if you're pulling shards, you're in the mindset of acquiring something. So I think it would have been better to go down the road of like the last thing here with the tokens. Like that's like this is more along the lines of where you should go, is allowing the duplicates to go towards champions. So this last part I like the most, but it's unfortunate that they're only gonna limit it to a very few champions, because I mean there's like 130 legendaries at this point, so if you only got 6 in there, that's not a very robust duplicate system. I know they said they were thinking about adding more, and this might just be a placeholder artwork. It might be way more than 6. But I hope that they really give you more options out of 130 legendaries, being able to cash in all these duplicates to just get like 5 or 6 champions on your choice and having them be old school events. I like it. The third one is the best in terms of where their thought process is, but the implementation so far looks pretty bad. And then we also don't know how many life tokens you get for a duplicate. Like we don't know what the threshold, the barrier to entry is for turning that life token into something that you see in the token trader. We don't know if it takes 3 duplicates, 25. So the mechanics of this are really going to shift my opinion on it. That I don't know if they're still like wondering, maybe behind the scenes, waiting to see how this gets received before they set some of these parameters. But they didn't give us any of the mechanics of how things work. Like we don't know how like the token trader, we don't know how much these cost. You can see here that the cost on the bottom is very intentionally left blank. Like they're still thinking about this, waiting to see how it's received, and then kind of set these prices. We don't know how many tokens you get for trading in a duplicate. And then also on the stat boost. Right here, you can see that we're getting a number there above the level number. So it's going to be like +1, +2, +3, and I think they said it maxes out at 4. We don't know how that functions. It's not showing anything on the screen what you're getting. So without knowing some of these mechanics, that's a little bit unfortunate because I can't give a fair and accurate assessment. I would say overall, unfortunately, my sentiment is kind of to be disappointed so far based on what I know. I think it could have been a lot more fun than this. But like I said, I don't know the mechanics yet. Maybe it will be a good thing. Maybe it will be a bad thing, depending on how the mechanics of how some of these things work. But I would give this like, so far, based on what I know, out of 10, I would give this like a 5 out of 10. Because I like how there's 3 different options. And I like how you can kind of do some different things and have some customizability and some choices as a gamer, and everybody can kind of run their account how they want and how they want to use their duplicates. I like how there's different options in the faction guardians for the rare and the epic and the legendary. Like you see right here, you got the legendary and the epic. I like that. But there's a lot of things I don't like, and not knowing the mechanics is also something I wish they would have revealed. So yeah, I would go like 5 out of 10. Let me know how you feel. I'm sure some of you are going to be 1 out of 10. I'm sure some of you are going to be like 7 or 8. So yeah, I would really appreciate to hear your feedback down below. This is a big deal, and I will definitely get a poll up on the community tab of the YouTube channel so we can try to see how the community is shaking out on this. So, okay, that was definitely crazy and something we had to get to right away. Now let's go ahead and get you caught up on the rest of the stuff going on here in Raid as we get the week kicked off. So, first of all, tomorrow we are going to be having CVC launch, and there is going to be actually a 10x for Trunda part of this out of Ancient and Sacred Shards. So, if you're close to your Mercy system and you do not have a Trunda yet, may not be a bad idea to kind of yank some shards here during the CVC. Trunda is an amazing champion to have on your account. So like, you know the drill, 90-something% of the time, it's the best route to wait until 2x. But a slight exception here, if the champion is S tier and you're close to a Mercy, might not be a bad idea, depending on your account, to go ahead and YOLO for that pull, because Trunda is definitely one of the best DPS champions in the game. So that is not live right now. You'll want to wait until you see in the portal that under the eye here, Trunda will show up down here on this bottom section as a 10x champion. That will only be live for 24 hours, and that will start tomorrow on Tuesday. Then on the next day, Wednesday, after that, on October 13th, they're going to be launching a 10x from Void Shards that will also be live for 24 hours, and that is going to be for Tamasia. Now, a lot of you are like, who in the heck is Tamasia? What? But Tamasia is the new Fox champion in the Skinwalkers right here, Tamasia. So this is going to be the Fox legendary champion, and this is going to be a 10x after Trunda. So tomorrow on Tuesday, 10x for Trunda out of Ancient and Sacred Shards. And then the day after, on Wednesday, we're going to have a 10x for Void Shards for 24 hours. That is for Tamasia. And I haven't gotten to test Tamasia a ton yet, but we do have a very cool A2 here that can be booked to a 3-turn cooldown that has AoE HP burn, which is not super common in the game. And then you can also get a stun or a decreased speed from that same ability. So definitely a very impactful A2 here, and would be a cool champion to have on your account for sure. So that is going to be the 2 champions that are going to be 10x'd during CVC based on each shard respectively. But that's not all. On that same Wednesday, the same day that they start the Void 10x for Tamasia, there is going to be a 2x event dropping Shadowkin accessories from the Spider Den. That won't be live for 72 hours. So I don't know what they're doing at this point with Shadowkin. We're going on like 8 or 9 months now that Shadowkin has been live, and we don't even hear anything about launching their faction wars, which I'm sure some of you are thankful for that because it gives you more time to finish and get Lydia. So I'm not necessarily complaining. I'm very surprised that we don't know at least the date that Shadowkin is coming. I mean, are they going to wait 2 or 3 years to launch the Shadowkin? Because I mean, we're coming up on a year pretty soon here, so it is interesting that they went that route, but not necessarily a bad thing. It gives the player base more time to finish Lydia, so I'm technically okay with it as long as it's not giving us less opportunity to farm glyphs and stuff, because like as long as it's not going to change the system. If it's just 2 a day, if we still have the same ability to farm as many glyphs as normal, it doesn't really matter when they release Shadowkin. But anyway, if you are sparse on Shadowkin accessories, going to be a good opportunity to grind the spider because it will be a boosted rate for accessories dropping in the spider. That will be live for 72 hours starting on a Wednesday. Okay, so that was a lot to go over. I'm going to try to rattle through the rest of the stuff in game quick because I know this is going to be one of the longer wrap-up videos. But obviously, it's a big deal when you have a dupe system and 3 different things coming to the game on Monday morning here. But we're down to the final few, 6 days or so on the Fusion. So make sure you're paying attention to the events going on in game. As of right now, the things to focus on, we have got an Ice Golem tournament with some shards over here at 1,800 points on the right. 20 shards, so make sure you are focusing on that. You've got about a day and a half left on the Ice Golem. The classic takedown arena, make sure you're spending those tokens and getting the guaranteed reward on the right side to get those fragments. That's actually a champion that I summoned already, so I didn't have to go for top 2 or anything or get crazy. Then under the events tab, we've got Dungeon Divers starting tomorrow, and then also champion training is going to be live for the next 3 days. We have got fragments for Splinter here at 2,500 and then Demitha at 6,200. Now, Demitha fragments are a premium. That is the Void Epic. Those are the tough ones to get. So you're going to want to make sure if you're trying to do the Fusion or even if you're just going for the Epic, you're probably going to want to make sure you're getting to 6,200 here in the next 3 days on your champion training event. So you might want to get to 2,000 or 3,000 today and make sure you're kind of keeping pace on getting there because the bottom row is tougher to fill up than the top row. So you can see here, even if you fill the top row and get to 2,500, you're not even halfway to getting halfway on the bottom row. So yeah, get yourself to 2,500, 3K, and make sure you're keeping pace with scooping up the fragments over there. But also, not a bad idea if you want to wait to do that until tomorrow, because remember, CVC is going to be launching. That champion training event is live for 3 days. So if you don't necessarily want to keep pace until tomorrow, not the worst decision in the world, because you can see the countdown up there. If you wait until CVC is live, you can double dip and get some points for champion training that will go towards CVC and towards those Demitha fragments. So not a bad idea to kind of wait 16 hours or so, or whatever that countdown is, to kind of start going hard on some of these things. Then we'll see if there's anything worth covering in the shop. This one looks a little bit rough. It's a purchase limit of 3, so I already know it's not going to be that great. But for those of you that are curious, we will plug this one in. We're going to go 12 and 7, and then we're going to go 8 and 5 on the chicken. Okay, 2.18. Yeah, that's a lot to spend for not getting any shards or anything. So that would be a pass from me. The Elite Sacred Pack. We got $60 for basically 3 sacreds. That is not going to be consistent good return on our money, in my opinion, but we see the plugin is a 1.01. So definitely a pass. The monthly pack grades out as a 2.5 if you're curious about that one. The pack string, I believe, if I remember right, the whole thing grades out to like a 1.85 or so. So if you're a high spender who's in desperate need of energy for the Fusion or something, but for most of you, it's going to be a pass. And then faction accessories, $20 for, let's see, we get 2 million and then 350 energy and 300 gems. So that's worth about $7 or $8. So are these 3 pieces worth $12 or $13? No, definitely not. It's 5-star gear. It should at least be 6-star. But even then, it wouldn't be worth it in my opinion. So, unfortunately, nothing really noteworthy here besides the monthly pack in the shop. Okay, big video there. Thank you for hanging out with me this long. If you made it to the end, we had a lot to cover there. And if you're watching this right away, I will be heading on over to stream where we can talk about this stuff live, hang out as a community and discuss the duplicate system and other things coming to Raid and going on in the game currently. If you want to stop by, that link will be down below, indicating if I am live or not currently in the pinned comment, where we'll be hanging out for a few hours. So remember, let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will try to host a poll on the community tab of the channel so I can get you some context in a future video coming up soon as to how the community is kind of feeling about the duplicate system, and we will discuss that in depth and keep you kind of in the loop. So as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.